Well, after a couple months, we are finally back to tear this house down. So as you can tell, we got some grass growing up here now. I think it's been, I don't know, at least 2.5 months, 3 months maybe, since I cleared all the brush and stuff over here. So I have been a little absent on YouTube. I'm sure everyone has kind of noticed. So I've still been working. I'm completely booked up probably for the rest of the year and stuff like that. The last couple months we've probably had 2.5 feet of rain, I think. Last week we got 10.5 inches between Wednesday and Friday evening. So we've had a ton of rain, but part of it, I've been working at that kind of GC in that one renovation project. That's taken up a lot more time than what I anticipated. And then the water feature project has kind of been a little bit of a pain, or a nightmare actually. So the help we kind of had set up to do some of the landscaping kind of fell through. So there were some days I've had to go over there and lay sod and do stuff. And then yeah, the lady kind of designing the water feature, I still work with her, but the other people we're gonna have help us kind of fell through as well. They're the same ones with the landscaping part of it. So that's taken up a lot more time than what I even anticipated or planned on doing, because she's health-wise isn't able to do as much. So I need to be over there, but it's also a little frustrating because trying to coordinate with their schedule and times, and then yeah, they may just want to work a few hours a day. So I haven't filmed anything over there. That job has been strung out for months over there. Plus the rain hasn't helped either, but we may get to work over there like 1 or 2 days a week, then I got to load up, go somewhere else. So yeah, the last couple months have been a little frustrating, and I've kind of just not filmed a lot of the stuff I've done. Some of it's just little piddly stuff, I think. Like we dug in a sewer line at one of Steve's houses, and it's just kind of little stuff to kind of keep projects and stuff like that going. Then I get to certain points on jobs where I got to wait on someone to make a decision, and then like I said, with the rain and everything else, like I said, I'm not trying to make excuses. I just haven't really been in the best mood, and I think it would notice it whenever I film. So I'm just kind of taking a little break from that, but we're kind of finally getting things lined out. It's getting warmer. The rain's not quite as much. It's supposed to rain today, tomorrow, and then Monday again. But with demo, that's going to be good on that. It kind of keeps the dust down, and I'm actually going to burn most of the wood and the materials. I'm going to try to strip the shingles off, the vinyl siding, and the brick. Not that we're trying to save the brick or anything, but I'm going to use it for filler because there is a basement. I'll walk inside this house here in a minute, because I've also had a few people that the last couple demo videos, they get a little aggravated I don't walk inside for some reason. But the one house caught fire and I just didn't care to walk through there, so they can just get over that or whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna do, like I said, I don't really want to burn shingles and vinyl siding and stuff like that, and the brick, there's no point in trying to throw it in the fire. So like the concrete sidewalk, any of the brick, any of the concrete, I'm going to use for filler, because there is a basement in here. I'm going to try to break the walls. I don't need to take the walls completely out because we're going to build a slab house back, but I do need to punch holes and break the floor up so it doesn't hold water. But I've been back and forth. I thought about just smashing all up and burning it in the basement, but then I don't want to have to dig the ash and stuff out, and I don't want to leave a soft spot in the pad, which it may not, but I think what I'm going to do is just grab it, smash it. I got a pretty good open spot right there, and that way I can keep working as well and keep throwing stuff in the fire and separating stuff out. And then the vinyl siding, the shingles, and all that junk, we'll probably get a dumpster over here at some point. I'm just going to pile them up out of the way, and we'll get them hauled off and stuff like that. But the house isn't terrible, but they're going to build a great big slab house, and this thing's just been vacant for, there's a nice little wasp, like 15 years. So yeah, it's just kind of been, like I said, it's not terrible, but it's just, I think they had a bunch of boxes and stuff. Well, they do have a bunch of boxes. Huh. Great. I guess we can just burn all that. But yeah, it's got hardwood floors. Looks like it was a pretty decent little house. Got a nice jacket, so Bathroom. And the kitchen. I don't know if there have been people. There's no windows broke out, but the door wasn't locked either, so. Yeah, I don't really know. Well, if there's stairs to the basement or if you gotta go outside. Yeah, it's all hardwood floors most places, so. Not a bad little house, but just not what they want, so we will get started on tearing this thing down. I've been looking forward to this one for a long time, so I am glad to be back over here doing some demo work. So let's get in the machine and get this party started. Scrape all this junk off a couple feet out from the edge of the house, so then when we pull the bricks we don't have all this grass, and there's bricks in there obviously, but I don't have everything quite as mixed in with it. We're going to have some junk mixed in here, but looks like this was a little flower bed. The beauty of it is, yeah, if I hit the house, it's not really going to matter, so I just figured this will kind of keep it maybe a little bit separate. I probably should have brought my skeleton bucket with me, I guess. This stuff I can push across the way. I got a bunch of dirt piled up with sticks and roots and junk in it. We're just gonna have to probably dig a hole and bury it at some point. So we're actually gonna have to probably dig a borrow pit on this property, so a lot of this junk will just go back in that borrow pit. I mean, it's not really gonna ever like pack in or anything. It may settle over the years, but we'll probably pick a spot out in the woods that doesn't really matter, and yeah, dig us a big hole. So, and part of that reason is why I brought the 12 with me, where I can kind of pull some of this right away from the house and then just take the 12 and shove junk out of the way. So I think this will be the cleanest approach, I guess. It probably really doesn't matter, but it just seems like it's less stuff to separate. AC pad. So yeah, I am extremely happy to be back running the 2150 for starters. I haven't been in this thing in quite a while, and then just actually making some forward progress on other projects, because I've got this house to start. Steve's got 2 more after this, and then the house where I buried all the downspouts. That'll be getting a little closer to wrapping that one up, which I gotta do some more grading and clean up over there. I did get James. He's kind of gonna finally, any landscaping or anything like that I have, he is going to take that over. He's got some guys at the fire department to work with him. He's wanting to get into more landscaping, so kind of in the middle of this fiasco at the water feature job, brought him in, and he's kind of finished up a lot of that stuff, which has really helped. But since he's a firefighter, he's only here, I think it's either like 3 days 1 week and 2 or something. It kind of varies or whatever, which is fine. But like I said, now I've got it where he's met the homeowners, they know what's going on, so yeah, it takes a lot of stress off of me. But so moving forward, he'll be kind of the one I use and get set up on all the landscaping stuff. So that house with the downspouts is going to get irrigation, sod, and all kinds of landscaping. Luckily, no water feature. So I'll get all the dirt work stuff ready for him, and then he can sod it and landscape it and irrigate and all that jazz. So you know, that house will be I don't know, maybe a month, 6 weeks, something like that. It's getting closer anyway. And then I got another commercial job coming up in 6 weeks, I think is what they said. Be ready. It's going to be a new attorney's office here in town, and I got an old parking lot to tear out and some concrete to dig up, and then do all the grading and site work on that. I'm not going to do the big retaining wall project on the big house where we hauled all the clay in on that crawl space. I was supposed to try to work in that over the winter, but the weather never really cooperated, and they're just kind of ready to get going on it. So I told them 3 or 4 weeks ago if they couldn't wait anymore, just to find somebody else, which was not going to hurt my feelings, because that one was still going to be a little bit of a logistics nightmare, because that neighborhood doesn't want the trucks and stuff running through there. That's our only access to get in there. So yeah, I am not going to miss not having to deal with any of that junk. So it would have been fun to build that retaining wall, but once again, I was going to have to have James come over there and help me, and setting those blocks and doing all that was just going to take a little more time. So yeah, this way I can concentrate on stuff for Steve. So just like I said, he's got 4 or 5 more big houses to get started on. So for day one, I think I made great progress. So yeah, that worked out pretty well. So especially when you're able to just pile all the lumber over there and burn it up. So got the brick back over there, and what metal, like the windows and appliances and everything like that, I could kind of get dug out of it. But yeah, made definitely quick work of that. We don't have to worry about smashing it and loading it up or anything. So I guess that's the beauty of being out of the city limits. You can just, I probably should have just maybe pushed it in there and burned it in the basement, but like I said, this way I'd have to kind of dig all the ash and everything back out, and then I was able to kind of keep working, I guess. So we will get back tomorrow, rip off the subfloor and finish tearing out all the wood and stuff in the basement. This piece right here is one giant thing of concrete. I don't know, I need to get down in there. I guess tomorrow I'll be able to see. I think this is a crawl space on that side, but I don't know. I don't think that's a basement underneath there. I think the basement's just that little section right there. So, and it could be, it's kind of hard to tell. I don't know, I really can't see down in there, but I don't know, kind of makes you wonder, because they got vents in there, so who knows, they may have poured like a, this could be like a storm shelter or something up underneath here. So we will rip the floor off tomorrow and find out, but shouldn't be too bad, and be good to have extra concrete to kind of fill in this hole and stuff. So, and at least, like I said, that half of it looks like it's just a crawl space, so that'll be good on kind of getting that junk out of there. And then should be able to get the last of everything burned, and then I'm gonna got some couple dead trees we'll throw on the fire tomorrow. It's supposed to rain even more, so it worked out great today with the light rain and no wind. So yeah, we'll get the rest of this ripped off, burned tomorrow, and start trying to bust these walls up.